Hey, yo.
Wow.
What a beautiful entrance.
Yo, wow.
Welcome to Maak. Dom yase boy.
Thank you so much for
Tongue
the
with,
invite.
tongue with Thandi. But they don't know the name called Pinky.
No, they don't.
Let's take them there.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's take them there.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. You look gracious.
Lalela, I had to make sure, that I do what I do best. I like looking cute.
Like a healthy eclair, chocolate. What inspired the look today? Because I associate looks with mood and feel.
Okay, so I think I just wanted to be comfortable. I like being comfortable. Sometimes I wear tight clothes, but today we are having an amazing, chat. So I was like, just loosen it up and just feel cool. I wanted to look cool.
We receive.
Yeah.
We receive. So for those who don't know Thandi is a Afrotech international DJ, vocalist, and also, most importantly, one of the most positive and sweetest human beings you can ever come across. I want to touch base or start or begin by the humanistic side. Thandi was born in a village called Epopoi in Natal. I want you to take us through your upbringing, who you are, and who Pinky is.
Okay, well, before I get on to Pinky, you forgot that I also DJ and I also make music.
Correct.
Now we can get on to Pinky. Cool. So, hi everyone. I'm Pinky, also known as Thandi Draai, all the way from Potchefstroom, Epopoi. For me to be the person that I am today, I've gone through a lot in my life. I can say that my past really started from a very dark and hurtful place. And in short, that little girl, Pinky, from a rural village, if you call it a rural village, from Epopoi, I am the person that I am today because of music, also healing. I'm still healing till today. Yo, English. Still that person is healing through music, through traveling. And yeah, music has really done a lot, from my past being darkness. It's really healed me. And yeah, today, like, I just vibrate in light, happiness, joy. That's what I try to focus on as a musician. So yeah, that's me in a little nutshell.
Phenomenal. To give context to the very inspirational words that you share, you were raised by a woman named Veronica.
Yes. So my late mother, shout out to my mom wherever you are in heaven. I know she's probably sitting, sitting in the audience. But I think for me to be who I am, she was really there, from the beginning. She saw at a very young age as well, like staying in the home called GCF now, Give a Child a Family. They saw from the beginning that, okay, little Thandi Draai really loves music. She dances, she loves singing, and from day one, she knew that my baby girl is going to be, well, I'm still waiting for that big, but I'm going to grow up and be like a superstar. And yeah, so from day one, she was really there, from me being at school, for me moving to Johannesburg in the early, 2000s or late 2000s, and yeah, the late 2000s, I moved over to Johannesburg, and she was really, really, really just has always been my prayer warrior. That one woman with my angel, I call her an angel. I actually don't even look at her like my mom. I'm just like, for me to be who I am, the healing process, the love, the patience, the trauma that I put her through, because when you go through a lot of like trauma, it doesn't just go away now that you are put in a safe space. It just like, it follows you like all the time. So there was a lot of patience, a lot of praying, a lot of, things that she saw like, oh my gosh, we just, we need to pray for this child. And yeah, so I really, really like, my mom is an angel. Like, she was literally sent to work with me, love me, nurture me, and for me to be as strong as I am today. So yeah, shout out to my mom, Veronica.
Shout out to your mom, Veronica, for actually like brewing such a courageous spirit. I want to now segue. At the time, in the home, you guys were only allowed to listen to gospel-centric music. And naturally as a kid you have interests and you're inquisitive about so many different types of sounds. Take me through the sort of albums you were listening behind your mom's back.
Okay, well, guys, so when you live in a home, obviously you're living with other people who have a lot of trauma. So we weren't allowed to listen to music. I remember this off by heart, explicit. If it had explicit on it, I couldn't listen to it. It had to be all ages type of music, even the contents that you're watching on the movies, because we weren't really allowed to watch TV. I wasn't even allowed to watch Days of Our Lives, soapies, like anything that could trigger you. Everything had to be all ages. But me being the little short rebel that I am, I'd go to school and everyone else would be, listening to your Eminems and, other type of music. And so I made sure that I used to collect a lot of music on my phone, because so like my mom used to go through my phone. So I used to collect a lot of music, I liked R&B back in the days, Destiny's Child, Boys to Men. They were really, really, really touching my soul, other than the opera and the theater stuff and all ages and gospel music that I was watching. So behind mommy's back, I was just like, okay, send me this music, send me that. And I mean, just like my obsession and the love of music, like I really wanted to be super close to music. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I used to like go clubbing, maybe at a younger age, just not for anything naughty, just for music. I wanted to be close to it. I wanted to study it and really, really, really enjoy myself. So anything that was close to music, that I was that person. So I did listen to a lot of interesting music, because for me, I wouldn't say that I really had like one genre that I was looking for. I could listen to a rock song, and if it touches me, because I feel like music is a feeling, for me it's spiritual. I was very young when I understood that music is not just music. If I've broken up with someone, I put on a bit of Destiny's Child, I'm a survivor.
Let's go.
Let's go. Like, I don't need you to. So it was very, very, very healing. Like all these different types of music that I listened to. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, music is healing. Like anytime when I don't feel okay, this is the corner that I can run to and practice in front of the mirror. I had my own room and I'd just be singing in front of the mirror, doing like weird routines. But
Amazing.
So I listen to a lot. Like it's crazy. There's even Charles Webster, like crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So there's a lot of people to mention. But obviously me being me, I think the soul, there's a very soulful spirit inside of me in music. So I did enjoy a lot of R&B. And this is the kind of stuff I'd sneak myself, around the all ages contents that we're only allowed to listen to.
Amazing.
But that was a good job, because the older that I grew, like now that I'm older and I'm listening to like the lyrical contents, like imagine my biological mom, we went in a good space, me being young and listening to Eminem. If you know Eminem's music, me listening to that at that age, probably would want to strangle my mom, but they knew what they were doing by don't listen to certain type of music, don't watch certain things. You really need to grow in who you are, like be so self-aware. So that's about it. So
beautiful.
Thank you, Mom.
And thank you, Veronica. I think we're gonna keep thanking Veronica throughout
a lot,
the
because she did a good job.
Yes. So that self-belief and confidence obviously met you through post-high school when you were deciding on what to do. Because I think there came a time where you had a feeling where this is actually something that I want to engage in and take seriously. At the time, you were applying for a school, which was in Joburg, record label school called, I don't know if people know, Soul Candy.
Yes, Soul Candy.
And I mean, this was a golden age of Black Coffee, Cooler the Song. Like there was like so much Boosie, like there was so much Afro-tech and house, like just going through the ecosystem of South Africa. Take me through your first inception of being a vocalist, because I mean, people don't know. You applied, you applied very late. There was like literally 3 years left in the year.
No, 3 months.
3 months. Sorry, 3 months left in the year, and you were so confident to write this letter. Take us through that moment.
So, okay, guys. So Now I'm in the home. I've finished high school, but it's no secret because since primary, high school, I was that hun with like people knew who to go to for music.
Correct.
Because according to me, I just love music. I still carried on singing throughout, your primary to high school. So now I'm like, Mom, what do I do after school? Like, we don't have money. Like, where do you go? Like, what do I do? And then she's like, I told Mom, she's like, what do you really want to do? And I'm like, I want to pursue being, a musician. I want to know how to make music. I want to know how to DJ. I already like singing. I want to know how to sing. And I think after high school, we started, I think the 2009s and 10s, house music was on another level. Like, the lyrical contents, the sound itself. We were like, house music. I come from a very good era of like house music. So by your 2010s, end of 2010, I move up to, no, so I don't move up yet to Johannesburg. I asked my mom to call Soul Candy because I used to like buy and collect a lot of compilations. And when you read where the compilations are coming from, it's like Soul Candy, Soul Candy. So Soul Candy back then, from my understanding, started off as like a vinyl label. But then from there, they were obviously releasing the hottest new tracks for DJs and artists. So I was just like, all the music that I love, all the compilations that I'm buying is from Soul Candy. So we look at the back and there's what do we find? There's actually a school. My mom calls in and she's like, hi, my daughter wants to, be a music producer, DJ, and she was very, very, supportive of it. And they were like, okay, what she wants to do right now, she won't be able to do because it's 3 months left of the year. And the course that she needs to take is like a whole year, which is DJing, production, and just basically your DJing and production. And then then they were like, oh wow, like we can't believe there's a female that's really interested in wanting to know how to make music, wanting to know like how do you maneuver in the business of music, Then between the 3 months, I would, catch a bus, not a flight yet. I was still busing. So I'd catch a bus every now and again. And they were like, please do come up to Johannesburg. Soul Candy was still like down Elof Street or way down there. And also, sorry, before actually even coming, we sent them a demo because I'm just like, how do you introduce yourself? I don't know anything about.
Please tell the people what you were singing. What you sang on the demo.
Okay, well, guys, at that time for me it made sense, right? It's 2010, it's the World Cup, and I remember I hadn't ever like written any songs, so I had taken one of their compilation, and I think it was compiled by Euphonic at the time. I literally sang the national anthem, and like I needed something to be like, hey, like for me, I don't know, I still look at myself as a product. So I'm like, how do you introduce yourself to such a huge label? Like, who are you? Like, what do you do? And you can't say, hey, I like singing, but then you don't send them something. So I literally sang the national anthem on a beat, my first recording. And I sent through that. I also sent them like an R&B for them just to hear my vocal ability. And they're like, interesting. She can come through. They also had a school as well down the road from the offices. And they were like, you know what? There are people that are teaching music right now. You can just, go in and meet these people because we are currently working on some compilations. And there are teachers that are there who are making music. So you just go there, introduce yourself, and you just be great, And I would say that's how like my journey started. I'd literally come, do a quick freestyle, and then go, and then come back, and then do the same thing. And then my mom was just like, I think you should just move up to Johannesburg, but also I think you should also study, You also love like events and hosting, and I had already started working for an events company back at home, and so that was basically my beginning of
Beautiful.
who Thandi Draai is. So the studying part didn't go well because we found out that the college that I was assigned to whatever I'm busy studying. So it was like business, wedding planner, and event planner. You don't even, it's not a recognized subject. So we're just going to be wasting money. And since then, I really have not looked back on music. And today I'm on Spotify.
Now you're on Spotify.
Yes.
It comes back full circle. I wanna fast forward a little bit. You're making your own stuff. You're learning how to master the craft of DJing. You're producing, and you're laying down vocalist. So I want to break it down into 3 segments. But I want to start with DJing specifically.
Okay.
What do you feel how do you narrate through DJing? I think for any DJ, it's a story.
Yes.
There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an ending.
Yes.
What does storytelling in a DJ set look for Thandi Draai?
Oh my gosh. So for me, because at a very young age, like I was obsessed with music, I think my sets are already like built on nostalgia, if that's the right word. Like I said, I come from an era of very good Afro music, very good house music, very good deep house. And I remember when I would, sneak off to these parties and these certain spaces that had the type of music. Even when I play now, like one of my like spicy secrets is that I love mixing songs from back in the days and then introducing what is happening in this time. So I come from like an era, like I said, the DJs really took the craft very seriously, that here we're telling a story. What is your beginning song? What is the middle? Like, what is the ending? So those are all things that I also have adapted as a DJ. There's people that I'd look up to, like there's a time where like, your Kent, your DJ Shimzers, your Cubas, like I would watch those people and be like, oh my gosh, I want to one day know how to mix and just play around, with how I tell my storylines when I DJ. So for me, it's very important that I don't just, smack the best songs. I need to educate, and I also need to tell a story. So there's a way that I'll start my sets and there's a way that I'll end my sets, but it's really, really feel good. I would say that a lot of people say that my music or the way that I play, it's very healing because I'm obsessed obviously with like Afro and Afro tech. So that's basically how I actually mostly prepare my sets before I even get onto the decks, because I'm like, let me listen to these 10 songs, I go through all my music and I'm like, this is really good music. Now, what is going to be my introduction? How do I start telling my story within my sets? So, I always prepare. I pray before my sets and be like, this is a good prayer. This is what I'm going to take, and then I'm going to play. And most times, it's always a vibe, because it comes from very good nostalgic spaces, and it's really good music with good healing messages. And you know how Afrotech has that euphoric and healing, so it's
that's
like
beautiful. You speak of your DJ set having such great divinity, healing, and spiritual inclination. I want to now come to the second part now, where you talk about producing.
Yes.
Afrotech has this very sacred African instruments, very sacred African chants. It's a direct representation of like what African electronic music feels like. What does narration and storytelling look there for Thandi?
Well, I mean, just in general, like the sound Afro tech. If you are producing the sound with our like traditional, more folk instruments, I mean, we have a lot of our traditional instruments that are actually very healing. Drums, shakers, they can evoke certain, feelings in, like within your soul and in your spirit. So I feel like sound for us singing, chanting, it's used for it's not just music. It's very spiritual. It's a very deep. So with my healing in music, I was even like, when I used to listen to music, and it's something that I'm still learning and adapting to. Like, when do I get to a space or a part when I'm not just making music because I can, but I'm making music that is healing, that it's evoking. If people are crying or laughing or whatever, it's like whatever you need to do. The instruments that we use is so important. So I'm very obsessed with traditional African folk instruments. You put that all together in a song, and listen, I'm flying around the world because of just how I relate to music and what music has done for me, So our traditional folk sound is so important to my production and to my sound. From what is the context, what is being said or sung. So every element, every part of how the production. I'm very like specific, I take my time. I can take 4 years to finish a song.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
It's a lot.
yeah, it's very sacred though.
Because I think like as well, like the way I used to sing back then and the way I produce or the way that I play back then, there's always space to learn and improve and get better. And the way we do vocals now and the way you produce now or even DJ is not exactly the same how we used to do like back then, So yeah.
No, thoroughly.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to writing, I mean, you have so many beautiful songs, which obviously in essence is like healing, but there's love songs, there's songs about aspiration, there's songs about heartbreak. What does the writing process then look like?
My writing process is just about my life or life. I get inspired, like anything can inspire me, like anything. So I used to, when I first started as a vocalist, I used to write a lot about love because I'm good at loving. I come from a space where I got a lot of love, for me to be okay right now in this today life. I come from so much love. I love loving back. So it's so easy for me just to write a love song. Like it's easy peasy. And then, there's also times that I've had to write songs of obviously aspirations, things that like everyday things that we go through as humans, because that's another way to communicate and to express. It's like vocal diaries. Yeah, so I can write about anything, like anything. But most of, I think the songs that I used to write in the beginning were a lot about love. And there were those aspiration songs here and there. But right now, like the space that I'm in, I talk a lot to God. Like I have a lot of conversations with God. So I'm in a space of like more healing, and the things that I pray for my people. So for me as a DJ, if I'm gonna have this audience for 2 hours or 1 hour, I need to just like the vocals just need to evoke like wow, like what is happening here? And I've seen it that most times, like in South Africa, I would not say that Afro-tech is as huge as other genres, but I can get there, record a song and just play it and people won't know it, but the words, the lyrics is so important that, wow, this is actually how I feel, this is my prayer as well, So yeah, that's just, I literally write about everyday, regular, smegular, whether your man's cheating on you, whether, like anything, I am there, to preach and to sing out whatever we need to sing about. So yeah, that's my writing process.
Beautiful.
Through pain, through good things, through, dark times, light times, anything, let's go with it, yeah.
You speak about being very hands-on with everything that you do.
Yeah.
As a woman that is an independent DJ, tell us some of your lowest moments managing the brand Thandi Draai, because your sound is of a very international sort of like caliber, and you perform outside of the South Africas mostly.
Yeah.
How is that audience like? Does it affect you a little bit, like that? Like a South African audience that doesn't necessarily tap in as a European audience.
I just think in South Africa we have a lot of problems. So
First and foremost. Correct.
So in general, like the lifestyle in the entertainment industry is not like the Europe, spaces. Like I said, we have a lot of. It's a mess in our country. So a lot of times I hear people saying that our music is for like a niche market. It's for like more European people. But I'm like, not really, because I feel like Afro-tech is like a gospel. In this time, it's more like a gospel house. Like you really, when you say you're going to an Afro-tech event, it's not even that you're going to pop bottles or who's the hottest or who has what. It's really a space of healing. Like it's really about the vibrations. Oguti, we have Thandi Draai, or the biggest people on that lineup. No one really cares. We just want that like it's a vibe. You have to go to these parties to understand what I'm trying to say. So for me, being an artist and an expressive artist through music, it is obviously sad that I wish there was more opportunity in this country for the sound, because I mean it's made by our people for our people, but where we getting paid, properly paid and not exploited is overseas. That's why everyone is in exports. So that part is really, really sad. And then going back to me being hands-on, I feel like, I mean, it's still a male-dominated industry, right? I've really had to be super hands-on and fight tooth to nail to eyelashes, makeup, everything to be the person that I am, because there's a certain feeling or a certain story that I also want to tell and that I also want to project. And I've just really had to man up in my feminine energy as well, because it's like, hey, I want things to be done this way. And I'm really happy that in the growth of who I am now, I actually work with like-minded males who are like, okay, Thandi, sit down. We're trying to do this in production, but I don't know, man, we're not getting that groove. And just to get other males who trust that, hey, this hun knows how to open Fruity Loops. She knows how to EQ. She knows how to, put a pad in. She knows how to make a drum. It's not sexist at the end of the day. So I've really fought very hard. That's why I'm a perfectionist. I want people to be like, oh no, she didn't get booked because she's cute. It's like, okay, she looks like a Barbie doll, but wow, Dynamite really does come in small packages. So I'm very, very, very strict about making sure that also what I take out is just as premium and as good as my fellow brothers, because they also really inspired me, we looked up to males growing up because that's what they were doing. And I was just like, if anything, I need to make sure as Thandi Draai, as a female, that I take this really super seriously. I'm hands-on, and I come through with my own way of doing things, but it also just needs to be quality DJing, quality, like everything. I really try my best to give the best quality, of who I am as a vocalist, as a DJ, as a music producer. Yeah.
How important is it for you to include the emblems of South African nativity in what you do?
It's so important because I am African. I am South African. It's my story. I can't be telling via King stories or, other stories from other spaces. Yes, they do inspire me. Different cultures, races, they do inspire. And I feel like at the end of the day, we're all humans, do you understand? We can all relate to each other. We all bleed. We all have red blood. So, it's very important as well, because I feel like for so long in music and just in the entertainment industry, we really have been taught a lot of self-hate, It's only now, I'm so happy the space that we are in music, in entertainment industry, that as, an African person, you can be proud and loud in everything that we're doing, So it's so important that you are true to who you are. Never forget that at the end of the day, I can be going to Europe, I can be going everywhere, but what makes me me as well is that, oh my gosh, this person is from Africa, this is her story, because I feel like when we go out there and we express who we are, no one can tell your story like where you come from, vice versa. The way people tap dance that side, like we can't tap dance like Irish people, Sorry, I watched a lot of Marco Flatley, so
hey yo,
yeah. So I was like, when I'm watching other people being so proud of their culture in music, in dance, and just entertainment, I was like, wow, blown away. I'm like, one day I can't wait for South Africa or Africa just to get to a point where we can tell our stories in music, in visuals, in everything. So it is an amazing time to be alive. I'm so happy in the space that we still have a very long way to go. More fierceness, more opportunities and more spaces. We also need to create more spaces for ourselves, not just always rely on other people's spaces. We also need to be the movement and be our biggest ambassadors, for what we believe in. So so important to me. Very, very important.
That's beautiful. I want to come back to something that is important for all creators, and I think it draw reference to everything that we do. How often do you open the door to that inner child that knocks inside?
every day, every single day, because you need to. I feel like the older you go, like the older you grow, and things just become more stressful and more serious. I have to remember myself as that passionate, like, how did this all start? Who are you? And it's very important that you go back to the root of who you are, and like that part you can't ignore. You know, I only recent years I started talking more about my story, because I was like, oh my gosh, my story is so embarrassing. No one, like, I used to actually, I remember it was a very bad attitude to have. I think this thing of like, why is it all artists when they start being in the industry, they want to tell us their sob stories? But I mean, those are, it's their truths, you know, it's our truths. A lot of like African people have a lot of sob stories, you know, come from very bad spaces. So for me, it's very important to remember that you are where you, like, where I come from, and through that it's really inspired the space that I am in, because now I know what to do. It's not just about the contents of me making music. It's not just about, oh cool, we're going to a party, we're going to a groove, and the lyrical contents of the music is just so disruptive. Where are the like some of the lyrics that really matter? Like, where are the people who are praying for us? Where are the people that are you know, healing us through music? So I feel like if I didn't do that, I was gonna carry on writing about love and everything else. And that it really also is very important. But the spiritual aspect and the space that I'm in is because I have to go back to that little girl and remind yourself, why are you doing this again? That healing, the person that I've prayed to be growing up, I'm like, when do I get to a point where my music really like makes people feel something? It's not, I'm not just doing music because I can sing. Like, when I sing, what is it evoking? But if I didn't really accept that, okay, you come from an embarrassing past, but you've healed from that, because I also didn't want sympathy. I didn't want, oh, shame, oh, you know. I wanted people to just listen to my music and just take me for the talent and, you know, the person that I am before. Oh, shame, you used to dig in rubbish bins, really? You know, oh, but you sing very well. I didn't want that. I just wanted people to be like, no, she's really good. That's it, you know. But in my growth as well, and in my healing, I really had to dig deep. And now I feel like the level and space in music that I am is so important to me going back to that little girl and be like, okay, let's do this. So I'm also in my music and my understanding of the importance that I need to verbally tell my story, because it's good for people to see that I am still healing, and I'm not like as psychopath, you know, through all the trauma that I've gone through.
Yeah.
This is who I am. And it's, so it's very important that I visit my child. Like, every day I laugh a lot, because I felt too much pain in my life for me not to laugh. I will laugh at anything and everything just to get it out and not to be fazed by anyone trying to take anything away. So I laugh a lot. I'm very childlike.
I'm the same, yeah. There's
Childlike.
a difference. Childlike. There's a
Yes.
difference. There's a difference between childish and childlike. You are
Yes.
childlike. We are
Yes.
childlike.
Like, yeah,
That's amazing. So you speak of music being your love language. I wanted to know, is there another or any other anchor point outside of music that brings you comfort and joy?
food. I'm a foodie. I love food. But maybe it's also because, like, a trauma, you know, me when I was like younger, before I got taken to the home, food. So any chance that I get of eating or just tasting, I knew, like, I love my job now because obviously I get to travel around the world, and I was like, I'm gonna taste every type of food out there. So I love food. I love cooking. I love hosting. To a point right now, I'm currently pushing an events company where we deal with sound, and we make our own, we make our own events. So anything creative, anything creative, count me in. Anything that is bringing lights and it's making me happy. Like, I love that, besides music. So creativity in general, I think, is just my love language, because I'm fascinated. I could meet a painter and just be like, wow, your job is so cool, because they're creating something. So yeah, anything that's creative for me, that's my love language.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You being like someone that travels the world so frequently, Has that nomadic energy of like, I actually don't belong anywhere, home is where I'm at, sort of rubbed off?
Listen, for me, home is everywhere for me. I mean,
Wow.
like everything, I have to think my conditioning is really also the way that I was raised up. You know, when you grow up in a home, the people that are there, they become your family. So I don't know like what it is to grow up with mom, dad, sisters. Like everyone in that home is mom, aunts, dad, your sister, your brother. So each and every place that I go to, depending on the people that are there, how they treat me, how they welcome me, I never want to leave most of these places because I really get treated very, very, very well. So for
sure.
me, yeah, if it's called a nomad, like I am Ngandis and I'm a traveler.
Umuvurvai. What's that sound on YouTube? Wow.
No, I don't like sleeping either, but
Yeah. You
in
don't like
general,
sleeping either.
I don't because
That's that perfectionist energy of yours of like always wanting to be tapped in and working, right?
yeah, well, I mean, I am my own boss at the end of the day. I do pay myself and I wear more than one cap. You know, there's a producer cap, there's a DJ cap, there's a vocalist cap, then there's a business, you know, side of things. So even now, like I just came back from 2 tours. And as soon as I got back from tour,
Was
I'm
Sweden,
tired.
right?
Yeah, I just came back from Sweden like 2 weeks back. Prior to that, I came from India, and like I haven't had like enough rest because you do burn out. But as soon as I got there, I'm currently also working on my compilation, my second compilation with Get Physical. It's like I need to be hands on because there's a storyline that I want to tell. But if I'm not hands on and babying everything, it's not gonna come out the way that I want it to come out. So I am exhausted, but I'm just like with the energy of being a DJ and seeing what the elements of music does. Let me take that nostalgic feeling. I call it also studying. Let me take all those moments and let me go into studio and be like, yo, I remember when a sound was like, dung, gung, gung, you know? Let me put that in one of my songs because I remember, you know? And most times it does work out. So in the space that I'm in, I'm running a few projects and I am the project manager for each of them. I barely sleep. It's not a good thing, but I'm just gonna get this phase. You know, I need to get through with this phase and we soldier on. You know, I know that if you're gonna be also the first of like your kind to start doing things, it takes a lot of work, a lot of tears, a lot of anxiety as well. And yes, you do need to look after yourself in between. But once I'm done, you know, with a few of these things, I want to be sipping on tea on an island for 2 months.
Straight from your mouth into God's ears. You deserve it, you know? Yeah, I think this is the time where we open the floor for questions. If anyone has a question to Thandi,
yeah, don't be shy, guys.
Don't be shy. There's a hand over there. There's a hand over there.
Hi.
Okay,
can I?
greetings to the house at large. I go by the name of Darlington, but mostly known as Ace2K, the Black Jaguar.
What's up?
Oh, hello.
What's up? What's good, sir? So originally, I'm an artist, Miss Thandi.
Okay.
So my first question to you is, how is the pressure of the external audience?
Sorry, when you say how is the pressure of the external audience, could we be like sorry, be more specific?
Okay.
Like
So let me give you a bit of insight, right?
Yeah.
So you just said that you're from Sweden and India.
Yes.
So basically, if you interact the energies between SA, India, and Sweden, they are all different. So how did you handle the pressure on stage and those type of things?
Okay, so I think for me being a DJ or as an artist, everything is energy, right? So when you're on stage, you need to believe in yourself first because you're telling your story. Remember, I'm an export from South Africa. This is where we're making the Afro tech, or just let's say in general in Africa. So when I go there, I'm not going to play or try sound like how they sound. You come through there and you're like, listen, I'm from Wakanda or wherever you're from, and this is our sound, and this is what I stick to. The way that I can say, the way I play in India and the way that I play in Sweden, it's very close to each other, because I have a mission to make sure that I also, like, as an ambassador of Afrotech, I really, 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 really come through, showcase our sound in South Africa. I can even go more deeper in our sound, because there's certain songs that we know from back in our days that will really make sense for this specific audience. So it is like I still get nervous when I get on stage, because I'm like, like, I don't know what these people like, who they are, but most times, like, they just in general are very appreciative of our music. And like I said, our music is so, the sound that we do is like, even if you don't know what Afrotech is, you will fall in love somehow, because it is so magical, it's so spiritual. Like, yeah, I've watched people go crazy, others want to shiver, cry. So yeah, like, I'm always like, I know that I have good music, and you know, what I'm about to do is so good that you guys are going to be blown away. So I'm very, very confident in the sound. I've believed in it like since day one. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. So the second question is, you're an artist, you're an entertainer.
Yes.
You know, that space is not just an easy space, if one can say. So when, in your lowest days, I remember I heard a bit of what you said in your history and everything, where you feel like, man, I should just give up on this. How do you get back into your feet and face the world for what it is? Because you know that you have a passion for music and you love this music. And it basically tells a story of who you are as well.
Yes. Okay. So for me, I think, you know, through my journey, I have had a lot of lows, but I feel like this is what I know, you know, this is like my life. I breathe through music. So if I'm not doing music, I'm dead. Yeah, bona. So I feel like I don't have a choice but to get better, work on the craft, keep on pushing. The right people will resonate with you. You know, I was ridiculed, you know, when I first started doing music. People are like, why do you want to DJ? Why do you want to produce? And I'm like, because leaving home, you know, I was just like, I want to be one of the best music producers, one of the best vocalists, one of the best just like music interpreters, you know. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people will tell you not to do this, not to do that. And if I'd listened to them as well, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, because we are flying, we are literally in the same countries as some of the same people that laughed at me and were like, I don't, you know, and we're out there killing it. So you really need to believe in yourself. And then if there's going to be people around you who are basically, I call it uktagata. If you want to DJ and someone around you is like, no, uktagata, lo, why are you praying against who I want to be? So for me, I don't have a choice. I need to be good at this music thing. Like, I need to keep on finding that greatness within the music, because I don't know anything else, you know, but music and entertainment. So yeah, I hope I also answered that question.
Yeah, thank you. And the last thing that I would just like to wrap up is, just give me your, are you on Spotify already, right?
Yeah.
Right. So give me a Spotify handle.
Okay.
And if you get time, just sift through and look at a nigga called Ace2K, the Black Jaguar.
Well, you could also, I like that.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what it's about, really.
Put yourself on. Yabona, put yourself on. I love it.
You know, flowers to that guy.
Alena.
Yeah. The Black Jaguar.
Wow.
Remember that name.
Okay.
Is there another question on the floor?
Okay, cool.
Hi.
Hi.
You seem like an individual who's amassed a significant level of emotional intelligence. So
Yo.
how have you prevented your trauma from playing out in your professional relationships within the music industry?
Okay, yo. Yo, that's
Beautiful
deep.
question.
No, that is deep. I think I'm understanding. So it is very, very, very easy. Very, very easy for the trauma to disturb your light. So for me, music, I look at music as my savior. Like, if I'm not taking care of my profession, as you know, as the different caps that I wear, if I'm doing anything that is going to ruin the relationship that I have with my music or as an entertainer, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm not perfect. Yes, there are things that I'm still dealing with, but if there's one thing, when you're in a space of, like I'm saying, flying around the world, getting paid to do what you do, you more like wanna keep, it's like my baby. I want to keep that safe, and I cannot allow anything in my past or my past traumas to take that away from me. You know, so that's why I'm very hands-on. I mean, in the music industry, you'll have me being a woman, you'll have spaces when people are trying to touch you or do weird things like that are triggering, but I've chosen to not allow that to take anything away from me. I have a mission, right? This is what I want to do. This is why I work really hard, because before even looks or anything like that, I want the next gen to be like, no, this girl like really works really hard. I feel like the way you carry yourself is sometimes mostly the way people will, you know, interact with you. So I really try and not allow my traumas or anything negative in my life disturb, because I can't allow this thing to be taken away from me because someone tried to do something to me or they're trying to take something away from me. And I definitely can't be the person who takes so much work, so much healing. I can't F it up or mess it up. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question. So I pray. I wake up every day. I feel like every day you need to pray, you know, because you don't know anything that is formed against you. I mean, you travel around the world. It is a dangerous entertainment. The entertainment industry is very dark and dangerous, you know. As much as I try be that, you know, lights, shining lights, you know, hunky-dory, there are things that I've gone through or I've experienced, but I was just like, boo-boo, I need to catch a flight to Dubai and go play music for other people. When sure,
Let's go.
let's go. Like really, like you need to be that person, because in general, anything that you want to do, attacks, whether it's mentally, spiritually, people will always try to push you down. But it's your responsibility to just be like, breathe in, breathe out. Let's do this. And literally, when I play, when I sing, or when I'm producing music, it just I get healed again. I'm like, okay, that's all I needed. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll take one more question here. The two more questions, and then we can conclude.
Hey, I hope you're well. I hope you're blessed. Thank you
I'm
for telling
good.
us
I'm amazing.
about
Thank
your story.
you.
I just have one question. In your journey in the music/entertainment business, how have you learned to sift through the snakes and the fakes?
Oh, listen. Okay, so I think my thinking as well, I look at the industry like snakes and ladders, right? It's a chess game, actually. It's also a chess game. There's certain moves that you need to make. I'm still learning as well. I'm still learning a lot. It's unfortunate that I feel like South Africa has a lot of talent, but we just don't know the business side of things. Because I also just think like the social engineering, depending where you're from, what your issues are, the first thing you're thinking of, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get paid. Now I can feed my family. I can fix home. I can do this. I can do that. We really, really lack on the business side of things. So the way that I go about my business is I'm just like, this is chess. Somewhere along the line, I'm going to be knocked, but I also take a lot of calculated risks, right? Because you'll be knocked here, but if I'm knocked, I'm moving forward to another space that's just going to counterfeit whatever just happened. So there's really, I can't say there's like a very safe way of going about it, because of depending on what resources you have, how much money you have. I really just go about going by move. Ish, okay, ouch, that move, maybe, you know, I go back down. Okay, let's go back up. So it's like snakes and ladders cross chess. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm making sense with that. Always take calculated risk. Anything to take you to the next step. You might like get a show, and this show is a big platform, but they might not be paying, but it makes sense to be like, no, I need to be here because this space is going to take me from A to B. So I'm very calculative, and I take calculated risks. Yeah. Okay.
Hello. I
nice
just wanted to
Hey.
ask. Hey.
Hey.
I wanted to ask, like, you mentioned that like you big on telling your story, right?
Yes.
And you are part of your story is a Black South African woman, and you like spoke about countries like Sweden, you know, you spoke about countries where there's not a lot of that, like in terms of representation. So as an artist and someone who's basically a product of South Africa, when you go out there, what are some of the things that you're doing to educate people about us? Because there's a lot of misconceptions about South Africa, you know. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about that.
You know, like even now, I just came back from, for example, Sweden. We had workshops where I just tell my story. I tell my truths. You know, I think as a South African woman, a black woman, I tell the truth. I'll just be like, hey guys, this is what's currently happening in South Africa. This is my story. And even through that, sometimes I'll cut the mic and just be like, hold up. This is, hi guys, I'm Thandi Draai. Through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's very short, you know, I don't keep it morbid, but we do a lot of like singing exercises just for them to kind of showcase that this is what we do best, you know. Yeah, I'm just very, I don't hold back as well. I just speak the truth all the time when it comes to them asking, what is it like being you? What is it like coming from South Africa and being in this space? So yeah, that's probably the best that I can do, is just also be truthful to who we are in the music, not just adapt, even from like, even from the way that I look, you know. I'll do braids more than me putting on a wig in your more European countries, because everything from how you look, what are you wearing, I could sometimes wear some African pieces. So there's different ways that I communicate that, hello, I'm from Africa or South Africa, whether I'm singing, whether it's the way that I'm dressed, or even verbally communicating, or even when I have some private times with some of the audience that I am singing or, you know, talking to. So it's just in different little ways. But yeah, Dynamite comes in small packages. I'm getting, you know, stronger and stronger, and also understanding what better ways can we obviously put our own people on and put our own story on. Yeah.
I think we have time for another question. Is there anyone that want to ask? We have a hand.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh,
Hey,
I
hello.
can't hear me here.
Listen, you're within our ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a question, like if there's anybody else who wanted to ask a question before I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. No, nobody. Okay, Thando, Thandi, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for being who you are and doing what you're doing. It provides a lot of hope for a lot of people that have similar stories to yourself. I think even to people that don't have similar stories to you, that might take their stories for granted, that there's people who've actually like worked very hard to be where they are, and they didn't make any excuses for where they've, or how much they've actually had to put in to be where they are. So that
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Can I sing?
Please. Take
Okay.
us home. Take us home.
So I'm gonna sing just like a little cute chorus, you know. Waze wamuhle lo mhlaba esiphila kuwo. So that's like one of my favorite songs that I did during lockdown. I was in a very bad space, but if you just chant that anytime, guys, you are in a bad mood, please listen to Lo Mhlaba. It is one of my most listened to song on Spotify, and that song will automatically heal you and put you in a good space. You listen to that, you chant that, and yeah, love, peace, and music always, guys. My name's Thandi Draai. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I hug you?
Yes, you can.
Wow, please give it up for Bathandwa from Maak.